We're still watching Newsday. An army checkpoint in Abia State, that's in southeast Nigeria, was on Thursday attacked with 5 personnel of the armed forces killed by outlaw separatists. The 5 soldiers, including an army captain from Abia State, were attacked at their duty post in Obikabia area of the Obingwa local government area by hoodlums who were enforcing the sit-at-home order declared by Emma Powerful and on behalf of the indigenous peoples of Biafra to mark the Biafra Heroes Day. In a statement signed by the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, the military said it would retaliate the killing of its personnel with fierce response and overwhelming military pressure.
Well, President Bola Tinubu on Thursday told northern leaders to demand accountability from their state governors, especially regarding the needs of the local communities. Tinubu made the comments during a meeting with leaders of Northern Socio-Political and Cultural Organization Arewa Consultative Forum in Abuja. He stressed the need for state governments to ensure accountability and effectiveness in the administration of local governments. Arise News analyst Dayo Sobowale is here to discuss the president's charge to the visiting northern elders, particularly in reference to the extraordinary numbers of out-of-school children in that part of the country. Good afternoon, Mr. Sobowale, and welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure to be here as usual. Right.
All right, let's start from the top. We've discussed out-of-school children several times on this program, but I'd like to start with the sentiment regarding the governors from certain states seeming to be more comfortable in Abuja than in their home states. And I know Senator Shehu Sani also commented, and he commended President Tinubu, and he said that he commends him for being bold enough to speak out where his predecessor couldn't speak up about the same phenomenon. What are your thoughts on this seeming culture, leadership culture of governors coming to lead from Abuja as opposed to their home states, especially in the north?
He didn't mention only governors. He says that politicians, they're all guilty. That when they are seeking office, they go to the locals. And when they get to power, they stay in Abuja. Which is, we all understand what that means. That is, they are ignoring the source of their elevation to power, which are the local governments. But more importantly, Tinubu was addressing the Arewa Council. That's the leader of the North. And he was reminding them that education matters. And that education in the North is in tatters. Because the North has the largest number of out-of-school children in the world. It is not that a Nigerian institution that told us that, because we never could have told ourselves that. It's UNESCO, UN organizations that have been recounting and researching on this and telling Nigerians that we have the largest number of out-of-school children in the North. And you see, this reason, I have to say it now, it's not far-fetched. It's because the North, I mean the entire North, from independence till now, have always put the priority on power over education. And that is the resultant effect. And I will elaborate. At independence, you had Tafawa Balewa as Prime Minister, first Prime Minister, Ahmadu Bello as, both were school teachers. And they were interested in education. And they wanted the North to catch up with the South in terms of development. And they did very discriminatory things then to get, because the education standard of the Northerner then was lower than that of the Southerner. See, when you had conferences on independence, pre-independence talks, you had people like Awolowo, you had people in Nnamdi Azikiwe, well-educated people, American and British universities. But Sardauna and Balewa were school teachers, and their standard of education by that time, it's like they were almost PhD holders, the way they held their own. And the drive then was to educate the average Northerner and put the not so well educated Northerner in positions of power, including in the army, accelerated promotion and all that. We felt discriminated against in the South. But then, you see, the 2 gentlemen were gunned down, killed in 1966, and the army took over. And the army too was a Northern-dominated army, whether you liked it or not, even up to now. You get me? And you will expect they will use education, their position in power, to accelerate education in the North and aim to catch up with the South. Instead, they went after ephemeral things to slow down the progress of the South with jump, federal character, and things like that to balance, which were okay in a way to create some balance. But you see, after the military came in, and leaders of the North who took over from the military never prioritized education. And this is why you have what we have. And this is why Boko Haram sprang up. You get me? What Tinubu is telling these people is that we have over 744 local governments. But the thing is not trickling down. The development, the rationale for having those local governments is so that there will be grassroots development. But like he said, people stayed at Abuja while the local governments, the rural areas decayed. And insecurity came in. Boko Haram, religious differences, terrorism, banditry. This is where we are. You see, in a way, he's trying to tell the northern leaders that they should hold themselves accountable for the predicament of the out-of-school children. Because they had always been in power. And if they had used that power judiciously and democratically, you have the North, which has been in power far more than any other part of Nigeria, having the largest number of out-of-school children. It's a disgrace. Something has to be done about it, and that's what he's trying to tell them.
All right, Mr. Sobowale.
Yes.
But do you think the president's message is actually, getting through to the northern elders at this rate? For a social-cultural organization like that, this incident has been going on for years now, so it's become almost like a norm, a cultural thing. And, are they actually going to be proactive in advising the regional leaders in terms of the governors?
Share your fears. Share your fears. But hopefully, maybe this time they will listen. But I bet they won't. I'm telling you. You see, this born-to-rule syndrome is there, that the North is in charge. That the North, in terms of population, has more people than the South. So they have more seats in Parliament. And the British taught us that democracy is a game of numbers, that as long as you are always more than them, you will always have power. But the issue now is, what have they made with the power? They have had power without improving the education of their youth. And their future is bleak. You see, so politically, all they can always do is to threaten any government in power, especially when it is a southerner leading the government. You get me? I know Obasanjo came in because the nation, everybody, even they, felt that they did not have been in power for too long, so they should give an opportunity to a southerner. That was why he came in, because he was the well-respected leader of the army, the tribalized Nigerian leader, but who lost their allegiance and loyalty and friendship of his own people. Now, Obasanjo has come and gone, military. Buhari too has come and gone. See what happened during Buhari's time. Or, the situation is there. The federal institutions in Katsina State, they are more than any other part of the country. It's a northerner. Could he have, just tarried a while to tackle the problem of the millions of out-of-school children at that time? He was in office for 8 years. Yeah. So I think at last, this president is bold enough, because religiously is part of them, and he went to woo them. And they see, about last 2 months, they were threatening not to vote for him again. So to confirm your fears, maybe this time they look penitent or a bit serious. But you just, anytime a southern president flexes his muscle or does something, they threaten not to go with him. They threaten not to put him in power. And then, the root cause of all this is that we have not been able, as a nation, to conduct a proper census. It is a very dangerous thing to say to them, but that is the crux of the matter. If you don't have a proper census, you can't plan anything. And since they believe they are more than the South, And you see, so many things do not bear that climatology, climate change and all that. People are migrating to the south where there is water, where there is business. And when they do census, they say the people where people are migrating from is ever more than where they are going to. It's a fallacy. But that is the crux of the matter. That is the crux. That is the enigma, the riddle of our political conundrum which we are in. No thanks to them. Yes.
Well, what is the root cause, in your opinion, of this disconnect that happens between leaders and those who they're governing? Because it's not in every part of the country. In some parts of the country, you see there are leaders who are happy to be amongst their people. So what is it about certain regions? Let's look at the north specifically, that's been called out in this conversation. Why are those leaders not willing to be amongst their people?
See, it's not a general Nigerian problem.
No, it's not.
So that's why I said that just, the level of education in the south. You see, in the south, in the east, southeast, education is an investment. You can see people, in tatters, but they will pay school fees for their children. You get me? You do not have that in the north. And that has yielded dividend. That is why you have more development, more engineers and so on in the south than in the north. During the campaign, I think a famous musician from Jos said that if the northern leaders had invested in producing engineers, doctors, and lawyers like the south, instead of sponsoring people on Hajj, maybe the north will not be so decadent and desolate in terms of education as it is today. But then, you see, the thing that sticks out in terms of there are no malice, disrespect for education is the number of out-of-school children. Tinubu is telling the governors, you are the one in charge. He's telling the Arewa leaders, tell the governors, your governors, to go back home and look at this issue. But that is difficult for them because you see, when you have elections, that's the parody of our democratic system now. You have election. These out-of-school children will be voting on educated people. But you see them lined up. They use them when it comes to election time to amass vote. You will see them. And thereafter they disappear. It is a very human thing. And until the London leaders do that, there may be an uprising against them.
And if I may come in, Mr. Okay, I've just been told that we're out of time. I was going to discuss the issue of the Almajiris and, of course, attendant issues of terrorist recruitment, Boko Haram. That hasn't gone away for quite some time now.
Because of this.
It's basically on that as well.